I'm Danny J, the Doctor. In the past, I've been a sound system operator, a radio presenter, and a record producer. And I'm also a DJ. Yep, such is my passion for music. My first encounter with a sound system was at the age of 3, seeing the flashing lights of a valve amp in a nightclub. And my dad putting a microphone in my hand and asked to say, "Count Jenny, what sound?" Bass culture of the 21st century, enjoyed by many in all its different aspects and forms, whether it be in a nightclub, an outdoor rave, or even events like the Carnival of Notting Hill. And it's also enjoyed around the world by millions as a form of entertainment. But you know what? How did this whole thing start? I'll tell you what, why don't we go right back to the beginning? The SS Empire Windrush landing at Tilbury Docks in June 1948 was the first of many ships to bring about the start of the mass migration of people from the Caribbean to the UK, seeking a new life. A majority of these migrants were from Jamaica, and they brought with them something quite special. Even though they came across hardships and adversities while settling in the UK. Jamaican sound systems and its bass culture has been around in the UK for over 60 years. Due to this being part of my heritage, I'm intrigued to find out, how did the sound system culture come to Britain? And who were the individuals who contributed to this effort, to this movement, and beyond? So, what is a sound system? Well, in today's terms, it's loosely a large mobile discotheque. That's what it is. Back then, they consisted of powerful valve amplifier, large loudspeakers, and a turntable. The story starts in Jamaica after World War II, where the local musicians at the dance halls were being replaced by the sound systems and their operators as a cheap source of entertainment. These sound systems were treated like royalty. They had bombastic and braggadocious names like Sir Nick the Champ, V-Rocket, Admiral Cosmic, King Edwards, and then later on came Duke Reid the Trojan and Sir Coxson's Downbeat. The music of the time period that was played in Jamaica was mainly American rhythm and blues from the New Orleans area that featured artists like Louis Jordan, Sonny Knight, Big Joe Turner, Dave Bartholomew, and others way too numerous to mention. Originally, these sound systems were wired up outside shops in downtown Kingston to attract trade for their businesses. Quite a few of the sets, as they were called back then, were owned by Jamaican merchants of Chinese descent. One of these shop owners was Tom Wong, who had just named his set Tom the Great Sebastian in 1949.
That Tom himself, Tom was the #1 song in Jamaica, okay? My brother sent me some money and I went to Tom. Because a lot of people don't know that I have a big relation between Tom. Because what happened, Tom's wife, Peggy, her name is Peggy Scott, her original name. She married to Tom, the Great Sebastian. Hundreds of people doesn't know nothing about it. That's a private part of my life, okay? Anyway, I went to Tom to get these records which my brother asked me to get. I never forgot.
In 1952, Tom took on a young DJ by the name of Vincent Forbes, aka Shiny Shoes Vinny. He was Tom's selector for 2 years until he stowed away to Ladbroke Grove in West London. But little did he know, he was about to become the first sound system man in the UK.
Crowd was powerful, man. All man stand with the little tree then in King Street, climbed the little tree and calling Tom, boy, you're great, man, and clapping him. So my friend just called and said, you're a great man. I went to call to Great Sebastian, and that name falls on him from that night. Yeah. Play that tune again and play it again. Everybody was happy. So Tom said, yeah. I said, good. And from that, Tom kept me that until I come to England. So what happened? One Saturday morning, I come in on Portobello Road on Oxford Garden and see a box like this with a 10-inch speaker in it. I said, man, how much you want for this box with this speaker? He said, £15. I said, no, £15. And I give him £15 for the box. And I carry down to my house, come out back and go to Portobello Road and Lancaster. There's a white man who make a little amplifier. I said, must make a little amplifier? And say, £10. £4. And I'm paying for the when I go collect the following Saturday, and I start playing in my house. So what? Yes, sounds it. So two young fellas come and look for me, and the rest of the boys I'm on the building. I said, Vinny, I'm kicking a party, and I was going to use a gram. I said, since you are the sound system, I'm going to use it. And so much to charge me. I said, give me £5, man. And I play. And I'll tell you something, the dance was packed, man. Well packed. Man, the boy said, what is that? It's a sound system. I said, but of course it's a sound system. So after that now, a competition started in '56. We met a guy named Boot. And I win the cup. I won the cup. And '57, me and Sucker and another sound and a bigger cup now. And I win the second competition, win it.
My research led me to find out that, inspired by Duvin's exploits, other sound systems started popping up in and around London, where the concentrated pockets of the Caribbean populace resided. Areas like Brixton, Peckham, Harlesden, Hackney and Tottenham, to name but a few. The early sound systems in London between 1956 and 1958 included Count Suckle from Ladbroke Grove, Sofonso and Jazz from Stamford Hill, G's from Finsbury Park, Sophronia B from Brixton, Count Sputnik from Harlesden, Admiral Ken from Hackney and Metro Danby from Clapton.
Yeah, Mr. Jelly, you must roll Mr. Jelly. Yeah, this is two records that I always keep. So anyway, I went to my brother and I tell him, say, I want to get a bit, make up a song. And it's like when I tell him that, he frightened. He said, you can't manage sound system. It's too rough for you, you can't manage that. Because he was much older than me, you know what I mean? We were about 15 years apart, you know what I mean? So anyway, I insist, right? And the idea become stronger and stronger and stronger. So these boards that come on this lorry, I walk from May Street or Shore Road. I walk from May Street to Glenham Road through the narrow way, one-way system of Clapton there. I walk, put it on my bicycle and push the bicycle every evening, and I brought about 5 big slabs that could make a complete wall, right? And I said to my brother, I said, well then, because I'm working to turn a partner, the partner draw was £75. Remember, at half a crown, 2 and 6. It takes you about nearly 2 years before that partner finish. Right? So my brother said start to feel, say, I really want this thing, you know what I mean? So he said to me, say, who gonna make the amplifiers and all that? So one day I went out to Dawson, and I went to the old man they called Tiny, and I asked him about 100-watt amplifier, and this is the living truth. He take his hand and put on his head like that. It's a white man, trapped in the mud. I say he was a whole-time police, because he was in the electronics too. And he put his hand on his head, and he said to the guy over the other side, the older boy, and I said to him, this man wants a 100-watt amplifier. And they were making fun of me. And I get ignorant. You know, them deal there, I mean, they were white man laugh after me about 100-watt amplifier. Because at that time, Duke was stamping and jump down Jamaica, you know, with big amplifiers. And he was the one, you know. I have several guys that go and call the name where people don't even know about these songs. There was a sound in Jamaica they call Sinclair. It was every sound I've heard in my lifetime. When I came up here, Ed was just starting to make up an amplifier, and I heard that he accomplished a big amplifier, and he was heavy. But you see, with me, I always think clarity, distortion, and things like that. Some of the records, you couldn't even hear what them was playing. You know what I mean? And I didn't want that. You know, I want to have distinction. You know, hear what everybody's saying and things like that. So anyway, I went to see this man they call Jackson and asked him how much to make 100-watt amplifier. And he was telling me that it's a pound of watt and things like that. And that would take 9 months or 6 months. I mean, that's laugh. But the experience that I had with the radios and things like that, because I start to pull up radio in Jamaica and start to put them together, you know what I mean? But I didn't have a wide span.
So, the UK sound system scene and its seeds were beginning to take root. After speaking to Metro, I became extremely curious to find out what was my dad's involvement in all this. You know what? I might as well take a pen to West Palm Beach, Florida and find out from the old man.
First Saturday I spent in England, I went to dance, and my friend Kitty took me to the dance. And when I went inside the dance, I met Barry, who I grew up with like a younger brother. Barry and I started conversation in the dance, and I just telling him that these guys not playing anything. It was G's and Admiral Ken playing. And they weren't playing no music. What they call music, we stopped playing it in Jamaica at the time. Another guy who know the music thing for the tip of it, I know it, any question you ask me, I could answer you. I realized that the best thing to do is find against a sound system and just teach them how to go about building a song. And there was Admiral Ken the same night who said to me, I heard about you, I just come from Jamaica. You want to play my song? I said, I took the offer, because what he offered me at those time was, so I give you 25 shillings, you know, come play the song. And me, you know, come from Jamaica, any little hustling you get, you have to go into it if you want to get forward. And that was it. It didn't take me more than a week to write there, and I was right in the front line. Because as a North London sound system, they weren't saying anything. It was all about supple, juke, pin, all them sound from Brixton. And now I supposed to start a strong line of music from North London. So that's how I decided to take up the music thing.
Okay.
And my aunt gave me £5. And I sent for some records the same week. And I remember I get 15 records for £5. And the first 15 records, I tune them pocket full of gold. Nobody could play it beside me in England. I played it and break the same night. And nobody else could play it all the time in England, up to when I leave England.
Okay.
1983. Nobody could play pocket full of gold. So I came to the United States and I find pocket full of gold. And it was like a prize. But anyway, the music business in North London started getting hot, where sounds start getting competitive with each other. Admiral Ken sound becomes a sound now that people start to come to, because you have this new DJ from Jamaica who come with a different type of thing. It was all about soca and the West sound them. But we start a thing in North London that some man start come from West, come on North London, come listen to me. And that's how it all started.
Back in Jamaica, the music scene was about to change in a major way. By 1958, two of the island's most competitive sound systems were Duke Reid the Trojan and Sir Coxson's Downbeat. Both Reid, Coxsson and other sound system men were regularly going to the United States trying to find those exclusive tracks to play against one another. But as rock and roll and the sound of Nat King Cole and Sam Cooke were taking prominence, it was at this time that a young Edward Seaga, who decades later went on to become a Jamaican Prime Minister, set up his own record label in order to recreate the New Orleans sound. Between 1959 and 1962, Coxsson, Duke Reid, Prince Buster, Leslie Kong and Chris Blackwell had also followed suit and formed their own record labels. Some of the homegrown talents: Laura Aiken, Theo Bedford, Derry Morgan, Alton Ellie, the Folks Brothers and the Scatterlights. With this culmination, the Jamaican music industry had finally arrived.
Even then you wouldn't even know, because when you was a little boy, little baby boy, before you even born, your father and me, we go far, far away in the music business. I mean, when I'm saying far away, we are talking about, we are the veterans in this music business in England.
From that time until January 1960, I played Admiral Ken song for about 7 months. And then I switched from him and started playing to G's song. And I carried G's as a North London top song all along until about 1962. 62. I start, Shelly come to me, because I followed with all the sound system man, because they couldn't pay me what I asked them for. So I started selling records. And I started selling records to everybody. And it so happened that 1962, Shelly sent two of his friends, which was Bobby and Donald, that I was living at 15 Pearl Road at my aunt's house. And they came there and said to me, why they would like me to come play. Them friend have a little sound, they want a little sound, they don't start up with nothing, but they want you to be, promote the sound thing. So when they bring Shelly come to me now, that's how comes I start tell Shelly, say I have to build an amplifier. And I start telling him the thing he have to do if he want me to play the song. And which he did. And the first night I went and played Shelly's sound, I am playing against Milo, who was a top sound in North London. Now Shelly was like a young sound just come. Nobody knew him. As a guy who knew what was going on, I just tell him what to get and give me everything that I asked him for. That's how the sound, Shelly's sound started. And then I just stand by it all the way and playing it until I used to play G sound and Shelly sound at the same time. Because I used to play G sound at Sunset Club at night time out Ivory Corner. And then play Shelly sound like at 2, 3 o'clock I come in and start like a guest DJ play sound. Yeah, as I say, I used to play G sound at Sunset Club. And then I used to play Shelly sound at houses like Fowling Road, Clapton Common, Stockton Common, Stamford Hill was the main place. I think it's 16 Stamford Hill, I don't remember whether it was Stamford Hill. Had 2 dance halls there. But I used to play the regular. And then a lot of house dances, all about in Stockton. That's where we used to play. Until we build up a big atmosphere that everybody come from west. It gets so big that if anybody want to raise the money, so if you find at the close and capture somewhere and call it to play and they go and ram. It ram up that them we get the money. And any big dance keep, if we not playing, it don't ram. We used to ram all anywhere, any whole thing, anything at all. You know, and if you want it bigger, you draw in sound to come play with Shelley, man like Lady Coxon, which made him develop a good relationship as friend. And Metro was a great friend of mine. A great friend of mine, he used to come to my house and we always start music. The Eunice again was a man I know from Jamaica, so I had that father-son relationship with him, very respectful to him. He wasn't a sound that I tried to put down. If I play in his lot of respect, he had a very good sound. And sometimes in playing at when he used to play the Sunset Club too. I remember when we come there, we had a nice relationship, I should say. But other than that, North London was really Shelley in charge.
So I just start with a little small shop set and start playing some music and start making little dance and all the things and build up the area was living. So after that, we start building sound and start threatening other sound coming from me and things. So we start threatening something and start building up the sound we can build today. We should go down country named Bart. And then basically play and we contest and then they come back and London.
Many early made music recordings started to filter to Britain. These tracks were being bootlegged or licensed. I wanted to know, who were the early Jamaican music industry music players in Britain at the time? So, I asked my dad, who do I speak to about all this? He sent me down to Jamaica to speak to one of his old mates, a man by the name of Mr. Junior Lincoln, Finance Director of the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association.
People who were released in the 2 records that he was sending over was Melodisc, which is the Blue Beat label too, Chris Blackwell on the island, and then Mrs. King, who was in Stamford Hill. And he came over now to meet those people for the first time. And he stayed with me because of the relationship that we had in Jamaica. So he realized I was keeping dance, you know, and which is what I was doing in Jamaica. And by taking him around to see these people to deal with his record business, he said to me, why don't you enter the record business? I said, I was a bit reluctant. He said, no, I'm interested. I said, but you're already doing it, you know. And what he wanted us to do was, okay, I will send, what it ended up being is that he will send me the pre-release. And that's why people like that and so forth used to come to my house and buy the records as I get them from the airport. But what it did was to, I was responsible for establishing the pre-release with the Soundsystems. So every night you have to go to 5, 6, 8 Saturday nights and you have to go to different dances and get the records played in the sound system and on the sound system. And then you, according to the popularity of the record, you would then set release dates for them that Island would release, or at the time Musicland, Mr. Lee Goptel just started,
Okay.
and Melodisc, you know, so we set release dates for them, and that's how the whole thing happened. So I was the person who popularized the sound and the sound system, and then set release dates for them to go as a general release.
Upon my return to the UK, the question bugging me was, who else was involved in pioneering the retail aspect of the Jamaican music industry? This led me to a long-awaited, overdue meeting with Chris Pickens-Price, owner and proprietor of the long-standing Peckins record shop on Askew Road in West London. I wanted to gain some insight from his perspective on this seemingly hidden part of UK history.
Chris Peckins here, son of late great George Price, aka Peckins, Daddy Pex, pioneer of Jamaican music in this country, was part of the downbeat sound in Jamaica, used to keep the dances. He was events manager. Machuki with the MC and selector. Lee Perry was part of the sound. Recording business hadn't really started in Jamaica when my dad was in Jamaica. It started around 1960, just 61 after he came here. But his friends, who, when he came to London, who prior came before him, like Count Suckle, who's my godfather, who famed had Q Club in the West End. So when he came to England, he came with a lot of rhythm and blues and some early recordings. And started selling them, and that's how he cut his teeth in the UK. There was a market that was untapped, and we wanted to cater for people from Jamaica who had sounds and wanted to get records. And the other thing was that all these people, when they knew Peckins was coming to London, like your Duke Reid, Mr. Dodd, they said, that's it, that's our link. So most music that came in England at that time, long before Chris Blackwell was doing anything, long before any of them, it was Peckins. So Manchester, Birmingham, London, people would come and check him, or he'd go and check them, because you got to remember the Jamaican community wasn't as big as it is now. So there was a supply and demand, and we wanted to keep our own raves to remind us of back home, not just as Jamaican, but as black people in England. So whether it be from anywhere in the Caribbean or Africa, we just wanted to have our own thing to cater for ourselves.
Started to try to envision what it was like going out back in those days as a young adult, partying, raving, taking in the social aspects of the time period. Also, what kind of people went out to these raves?
I came to England in 1960 from Jamaica, and I lived in Tottenham for quite a few years, for most of my years. And go to Tottenham Technical College for a little while, and I ended up meet a young man who was just like myself, trying to find our way around. But he loved music, and all the music that he could send his money to Jamaica to get, he sent money to get them here, that we could hear them and play them. And eventually he get himself built a nice sound system. Wasn't saying much, but it was our fun still. And over the years, he started to challenge the other people who come up with their sound system, and became very good. It had Tottenham Terror, you have, what's his name, Clarkey, Eunice, and all of those guys. And he was at the back, creeping up, but he still challenged them and win trophies and all kind of stuff. But we like our music, so we started to branch out and give him a walk and start look for the other ones them where everybody were talking about. So we get dressed up and go and listen to the music. Worse if they say they have two sound. We can't stay home. We need to know which one of them gonna beat the next one and who have what to play. So it was good times. The first big sound that I went to was Count Shelley, because he's in North London where I live. And I went to his dance, I can't remember exactly where, but it was about 4 or 6 young girls of us that used to dress up and try and find the place. Wherever the dance is, we would go. But Count Shelley dance was really nice. you have to go there about 1 o'clock. If you go early in the evening, you stand up like a stooge because there's nobody there. So you have to wait till after midnight. And that's where we used to find other sounds to go and listen to and compare when we come back to say, this is a good dance. And Come Shelley sound was one of the best ones about the place. We like the Eunice too, but only when we're doing clashes. And Coxon. If those are in any clashes, we are welcome to go. We go to that one, you know. Money in the pocket. And sometimes we don't have the bus, we have to come back. Because when we finish it up, so we have to go look a lift to come back. And the sound man, them normally make sure that we come back over. Because we following them. So we never out of anywhere, any harms. We are any trouble, so it was good. All sorts of people go to this session. Black ones, white ones, and all of us were youngsters. Some of them come and mix with us as girls, invite us to be a club thing too, but them not saying anything. It's not as hot as our party when we have it. So they were always around us. Some come from Frindley Park, some come from Tottenham here, and you have those from Stokey. You used to have some white guys, you see them in ponytail, and you think they might try dress, because we dress trash, so them come out and them look good too. But we say, oh, we don't know if you can go out with them, because, you know, your other friends might not like it. But they were all in the clique with us, getting drunk and misbehaving same way, you know, like everybody else. The Four Aces used to run with a lot of white people. Lots and lots of white people. Because we come from Ivory Corner with that sound. Well, with the business person who took over the Four Aces, Newton and Cansey. And they had a following of white people who used to come to their club. Because I used to be the gate girl at that time. And I come to Four Aces with them and do the roulette, because I was a copier. And when you do the roulette, you see all the sound man them come in, the other people for the dance, and it was a mixture of people, not just Jamaicans and other Caribbean islands. Everybody who was in the community who loved music would know where to go. And they know that there's no problem. They don't have no problem with it. Just come in, enjoy. And they did.
Me, Ron Lawrence, from Tottenham, London, England. Came to England 1962, round about with just before the independence. I came with a record, I always remember, Miss Jamaica. That was it entitled. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're my Miss Jamaica. Always remember. I came to England with that one record. I was living just below Stamford Hill. One day I was walking towards Stamford Hill and I heard reggae music playing. And when I looked, there was a record shop. Rita and Benny. And that is where I started really collecting reggae music. In 1964, the great Toots, always remember my godfather, my teacher, he came to visit a young lady at my mom's house. And whenever he came, he always had a record in his hand, for some reason. And I, as a young boy, I think I was about 16, 17, got to know him. And I found out from the young lady that he used to play a song called Come Shelley. One afternoon he came to visit the young lady. He said came to tell her he was playing in Northumberland Park. It was only a few blocks away from where my mom lived. I waited till it got dark, went out without my mom's knowledge, and went to the dance. As I walked in, this is the first time in my life I'm going to see an amplifier. As I walked in, I saw this great big thing. Well, I didn't know it was an amp. I was told after it was an amp, with all this pretty lights on it flashing and the great toots around the turntable. I stood alongside him and watched him doing his thing, people enjoying themselves, and all of a sudden he asked me, he was going away from the turntable, he asked me, can I lift up the needle and put it on back before the song finished? I started to tremble. My hand was trembling. I was frightened. But I managed it. And I done it. And that's the first time in my life I could say I ever played a sound system. It got into my blood. I moved out of my mother's house. Because in those days, you wasn't, as a child, you wasn't allowed to go to dances. But I wanted to go to the dances. And when I left home, and I remembered there was a road called Bethune Road. I went to one of Count Shelley's dances. And as I got to the door, the man at the door said to me, young boy, how you go? You're not allowed to come here, some big people come here. He wouldn't let me. So I had to go away. But just up the road, not far from where Count Shelley was playing, there was a sound called Admiral Ken. He was playing in a hall called Bethune Road. But then, when I went in, they were all young people, my age group, everyone was in there. And that's where it started.
Well, you know, if it wasn't for our presence, you didn't have the Beatles, you didn't have the Rolling Stones, you didn't have the Moody Blues, you didn't have Led Zeppelin. Yes? Yeah? And it all started out from a bloody basement that we, you know, in the 50s, where we couldn't even, where we had to go to create our own entertainment. Yeah? And 30 years later, no, 40 years later, yeah, he still hasn't been recognized. We'd like to get a plaque laid for him to his contribution to what is now British popular music.
1962 saw Ian Fleming's Dr. No, the first of the James Bond franchise, being released worldwide in movie theatres. It used Jamaica as its backdrop and featured heavily in the movie. You can find the scene approximately 37 minutes into where legendary Jamaican bandsman Byron Lee and the Dragonaires were featured performing a track called Jamaica Jump Up. Yeah, check it out. 1964, Chris Blackwell of Island Records relocated to London. There he released a single by Millie Small entitled White Boy Lollipop, which is a cover version from American singer Barbie Gay, which peaked at number 2 in both the US Billboard charts and the British charts. Yeah, I'd call her a certified top 10 hit. Around the same time period, some sound system operators were started to perform and play in clubs in central London. Fascinating times. It seems that the Jamaican music and its sound system based culture had seeped into the British mainstream. I'm beginning to actually realise how much of a major role it has played in influencing British society musically, then and now. Jeez, it seems like I've only just scratched the surface on chronicling and discovering the exploits of the sound system based culture and its emergence as an industry, as it pioneered and stepped out of London and made its way right around the country nationwide. Wow, quite an achievement for a former British colony when you think about it. Entertainment for the people, created by people. Yeah, I like that.